Okay, alright, so when you hop up to the rings, the first thing is that the rings are really thin, and this is just harder to grip onto and like really move the rings. So thin rings are not the greatest to really work on like handling the rings, just because they're just thinner and everybody complains about them. So if you have a set of thick ones, that'll be good. Okay, so I want you to look at your kip. So look at your head. So when your head comes back, that means there's no tension on the rings. When your head's forward, there's all this momentum going down and then all of this, and it's really pressing a lot of force going forward. And then what happens is your head picks up. So now the force is kind of back here in your back, and there's not a lot of tension up here in the rings. So again, look at that. So you're pushing forward. So good kip, bad kip. So you really like pressed away from the rings where we really want to be moving with the rings. So if we stopped here, this would have been a lot better. But you pull your head back and then you kind of like crank down on the rings. Look at that little arm bend right there. You can see it a lot there. So you're cranking down the rings. You don't have any momentum from the swing. You're just really using your shoulders to move those rings for you. And this back swing is very shallow compared to the front swing. So huge front swing, really shy back swing, and loose kip. So our lower back's doing a lot. Our shoulders aren't doing a ton. So I really want that tighten. Like look how it just kind of sinks in. So we want that really, really tight. And then from here, look at this big old angle. Big shoulder angles in the back here. You're pulling here. And what I want to see is more of like a straight line. There shouldn't be this big angle right there. And then, so then you catch really low because of that. And that's fine. A lot of like CrossFitters, they're like just teaching the low catch and you do a nice big kip out of it. And that's fine. But in the long run, you're just not going to be able to do 10 in a row. You've got to catch higher in order to get 10 in a row. And you have the capability to do it. It's just your swing is not really doing it for you. It's just you have a great turnover. You're really strong in that dip. That's good. But to get more of these in a row, we've got to work on the tap at the bottom. Okay, so then when you go in the second one, you just drop like a freaking cannon, like straight down. So no momentum here. You're in a complete L sit. There's no momentum. You're just dropping straight down. My dogs are fighting while you're doing this, so sorry if you hear dog fighting. And then you push forward, so you get those rings a good like push, but look at it's really your shoulders that are doing it. Your head picks up again. So we want more of this going on with the head forward and less of this. So here you have like you're tighter, but your head picks up, so you're losing all that push on the rings. So tomorrow I'm going to show you a video of the kip swing I want to see, and then I want you to turn it over and hopefully you'll catch a little higher. And then you do all this work in the front. And so like here's ring, well, no, okay, hold on, let me redo that. Okay, here's like the ring center. So you do all this work in the front, and then you just do a teeny tiny bit of work. So you start pulling here. So you did like this much of work here, and that much work there. So we got to do the equal amount of work. So then you start pulling straight up again. Look at this huge angle. So angles, 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 and then you have to pull right into those rings. So you're just making that dip really hard. So of course the second one's going to be harder because you've done now 2 strict dips, and that's always going to be harder. So we want to really fix that tap swing at the bottom, and then this will catch way higher. I'll show you videos tomorrow, as this is something I've been working on a ton.